$1 bills?
Then I can divide it up.
Regardless of whether it's wood or $500 bills. How about quarters?
Say,
Yeah, we're early. Yeah.
Mentioned it to Charlene yesterday at the market.
What's
This approach. Because I would like to.
Somebody said something, first report. That's why I wanted to find out. That'd be number one.
Put your mic on.
There it is. The meeting's open now, and the first order of business is the agenda approval.
Move approval.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that the agenda be approved. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Report on closed session.
The board did meet in closed session to confer with its real property negotiator on 3 properties. The board authorized acceptance of a counteroffer on each of the Lacombe and Polycomp properties. And with regard to the Walton property, the matter was continued to do further title examination. The board also met with its legal counsel on 3 items of existing litigation. No action was taken on any of the 3 identified items.
Thank you. Public comment on matters not on the agenda. I have nothing to talk about. All right. Approval of the May the 19th, 2016 minutes.
I move for approval of the minutes as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes as submitted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Review of monthly year-to-date revenue and expenses. Mark, that's you.
Good morning, Mr. President and members of the board. This report is for April 2016. The agency's beginning balance for the month was $5.1 million. During the month, we received some miscellaneous revenues and, importantly, $4.5 million from Measure V revenue from the city of West Sacramento. That brought revenues to 9.6 for the month. On the expenditure side, most of the activity was associated with the Southport project, and that included a land cost for about $350,000, construction on Village Parkway, $370,000, and miscellaneous design and construction management work, which totaled about 1.5. Expenditures for the month totaled about $1.2 million, and the agency's position at the end of the month was approximately $8.5 million. More currently, for the month of June up till last week, the agency's had a starting position of the fiscal year of $19.2 million. We received $25.5 million in various revenues, expended $38 million, and that leaves us with a cash position as of June 7th of $6.1 million. We've been working with the program management staff at DWR. We have 2 payments outstanding we're trying to get into process, and those payments, when they get through, will add another $3.5 million to the agency's cash position. So we shouldn't have any problems with that. We asked them about their budget process, if that would interrupt it, but at this time, they say they don't see any problem than their normal processing rate to get that done. So with that, that ends the report for the month, and I'll take any questions.
Any questions?
No.
No, not supposed to on that, no.
Thank you very much. Consent agenda. I need a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with, I guess, with two comments. There was an adjustment in the actual liability premium, is that correct? Yeah.
At the time of the report, I didn't have the quote from the insurance agency at that time, and I just received it this week. And those are the actual costs. Reflects mostly an increased exposure due to all the land that the agency's acquired over the past year, and it raised the premium overall 3%.
So that was my motion.
That was the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Will you get a second?
I need a second.
Bill's looking.
I'll second
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
it.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Consent agenda is approved. Public hearing, nothing. Regular agenda, WSAFCA project updates.
Morning, President Denton and members of the board. I'd like to go through a few of the highlights from the progress report that contain in your packet. On the Southport Levee Improvement Project, for all practical purposes, the 100% plans and specifications are complete. And also the work on Village Parkway, Phase 1, is essentially complete. We're wrapping up sort of punch list items this week. There is scheduled groundbreaking ceremony tomorrow at 10 a.m. Entering for that ceremony, entering at the intersection at Gregory, and then the ceremony will be held right about the crossing of the Clarksburg Trail. So hope to see you guys out there tomorrow. Also work in support of the levee improvements. I think right now we're heavily involved doing cultural resource investigation. Next week we're scheduled to begin subsurface surveys, looking for archaeological stuff in the field, in the project footprint. So there's a number of ongoing meetings with our consultant, with the Native American tribes, also with the Army Corps of Engineers to support that effort. Also, as reported in the progress report, the subsequent EIR for the Borrow 1 site, that public review period is concluded. We have received comments from a number of agencies. The response to comments is being prepared as we speak, and the distribution of the responses to comments should go out at the end of the week in preparation for the board to certify the EIR, hopefully later this month. I just wanted to point out, as it was pointed out to me in the progress report, that the South Cross levee certification, that process to get the South Cross levee into the PL 8499 process is complete. There is still some work to do, submitting a letter of intent to the Corps for system-wide investment framework, basically deal with encroachments, but for the hydraulic separability has been established and acknowledged by the Corps, and it has tentatively been accepted into PL 8499, subject to that letter of intent. And that letter of intent is in process. And then I think lastly, just wanted to let the board know that we are planning to provide an update to the board on the updated 2015 or 2016 problem identification report and alternatives analysis that was just prepared by Wood Rogers. And we anticipate doing that at the very next board meeting. And that concludes my updates. I'd be happy to answer any questions. There are a couple of administrative items that I'd like to mention if the board doesn't have any questions.
No.
Just a quick one. The GRR is all completed,
Correct.
and has the core certified that GRR? Have they gone ahead and approved that?
So the Corps has approved it with the issuing of the Chief of Engineers report, so that finishes the Corps process for the GRR. It now resides with the House and Senate to include in the Word of Bill 2016, so.
So it's just the word of bill that is still sort of outstanding a little bit. We've received a wink and a nod that it's going to move forward and everything looks good, but at the same time, that's what we need to have happen next.
Correct, and our project is in both draft bills, both the Senate version, excuse me, and the House version, so we anticipate it to stay there with the combined WRDA. There is an effort, certainly locally and broader nationally, to encourage Congress to move forward this year as quickly as possible to get to a WRDA 2016. And as a matter of fact, WSAFCA and the city were asked if they wanted to be signatories on such a letter to encourage Congress to move soon. And so unless there's an objection, we're going to recommend signing on to that letter.
Please do.
All right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And we are going to start the process with the Corps to engage project delivery team for the West Sacramento project under the GRR, to start the conversation of preliminary engineering and design under their work program, probably starting next year, and also whatever cost-sharing arrangements that we will need to be looking to in the future to enter into with them to start that preliminary engineering and design work for the next reach that the Corps will design and construct once the project's authorized. So there'll be more to come on that.
That's good.
And then a couple of administrative items. We're requesting to have a special board meeting on June 29. That would be a Wednesday, end of the month. Normal start time, 10:30. And then in July, the regularly scheduled board meeting, we're recommending that be moved to Tuesday. Where are my notes? July 19th. Again, regular start time.
You need any action from us, or just direction?
It would be good for the board to resolve to set those two meeting dates, yes.
Okay, I would make that motion to establish schedule a special meeting for June 29th, and then to schedule our regular July meeting to move from 7/21 to 7/19.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Meeting's adjourned.